Can a smartphone build a movement? Yeah, that little device you're probably holding right now. We're about to dive into a story from northern India that suggests the answer is a huge, resounding yes. So let's really think about that. Can a phone actually build a movement? I mean, it sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But we all have these little supercomputers in our pockets. Can they really be a tool for something bigger than ourselves? Something that actually transforms a community? Well, to find out, we're heading to northern India, where one single media training event put that very idea to the test. And we're not talking about some massive, flashy conference. This was a small, focus session. But wow, it created some seriously powerful ripples. Okay, so let's break this down. What was the actual mission? What was the goal here? And who were the key players? The training was put on by a group called Media for Movements, and they brought together 35 leaders. But here's the crucial detail. These folks weren't from just one community. They came from 4 different states and spoke 5 different languages. And that diversity, that's the secret sauce. It's the key to how this whole thing just took off. The core idea behind all this was something called digital evangelism. But really, it's simpler than it sounds. The goal wasn't just, hey, here's how you use a phone. Nope. It was all about showing people how to share their vision in a way that was super effective and easy for anyone to do using the tools they already had in their hands. And that training, it lit a fire. A real transformation began. And it wasn't just about adding a few more skilled people. It was about multiplication. And it all started with one pretty small number, 35. That's it. It started with just 35 leaders learning how to create, edit, and share media, all from their phones. But of course, the story doesn't stop there. Get this, those 35 leaders, they went right back to their own communities and immediately trained more than 45 of their own people. And that, right there, is the moment everything changes. That is when a training session becomes a real movement. The knowledge wasn't just held onto, it spread, and it multiplied. So now you've got way more people with these new skills. What happens next? You guessed it, a total explosion of new, locally made digital content. And this is where you can see the mindset really shift. For these leaders, the smartphone wasn't just for calls and texts anymore. All of a sudden, it became this incredible toolkit for creation. And just look at what was in that toolkit. Their phones turned into recording studios. I mean, using AI to generate songs in local languages like Bhojpuri. How cool is that? They became mini film sets for personal testimonies and broadcast towers for sharing social media clips across districts. They even became portable classrooms used to create and share presentations to improve local teaching. But maybe the most powerful example of this technology in action is right here in this quote from the field. In emergencies or when pastors couldn't physically be there, especially as it says, when the persecution is very high, these simple recordings allowed their communities to keep worship going without any interruption. It literally became a tool for resilience. Okay, so that's the big picture. But what does this look like for a single person on the ground? Let's zoom in and follow the stories of 2 individuals to see how this training grew into real-world impact. First up, Pastor Abhishek Mundi. For him, the impact was like a clear chain reaction. He learned the media tools, he used them to share his vision more professionally, and the result was completely tangible. He developed new leaders and planted 4 new house churches. That's a perfect straight line from digital skills to community growth. And then there's the story of Sister Archana. After the training, she launched her own media ministry. And just look at the range of her work, creating awareness videos, designing digital banners for events, recording local songs. But she didn't stop there. She's now using these exact same skills to advocate for social issues at the village, block, and even district levels. That is incredible reach. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It really boils down to one simple idea: seeing technology not as the end goal, but as a seriously powerful tool. This quote from the report just sums it all up perfectly. The training empowered local leaders. It gave them the tools to engage more creatively, more effectively, using digital storytelling to expand their impact right where they are. So let's circle back to our original question. Can a phone build a movement? The evidence from this one event suggests it absolutely can. And that leaves us with a final, much bigger question to think about. If this is what's possible in one small corner of northern India, what potential is just waiting to be unlocked in grassroots movements everywhere?